begins. Adam is recording the call.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for telling me
You're
that
absolutely
I'm not recording.
useless. Lockdown beers behind closed doors.
It's a good job. It's a good job. We only got a couple of minutes in, innit?
This is why I run the show, mate.
That's why you're the boss.
Yeah. That's why it's his drink.
Now it's actually recording. Everybody who's watching this is Lockdown Beers with Toby Appleton, the BDC track manager, and Mike Leeson, the Drift Games track manager. Oh, what's happening, boys?
How are we? Long time no
not chatted to you in ages. Maybe you might want to just briefly go over that first bit then, yeah?
I am sorry about all that.
It's fine. Happens.
We're not angry, mate. We're just disappointed again.
So what have you been doing on lockdown, boys? Have you been working? Furloughed? What's happening?
I've been playing the simulator mostly because obviously I'm the operations guy in Drift Games, so it's very hard when we've no events and we all can't be in the office together. So basically, the only little work I'm doing is the online orders, merchandise, trying to get them out as soon as possible. But doing a lot more upskilling, things like that. So I'm learning what Josh does, video-wise, and what Adam does in Photoshop-wise, and also what Dave does in graphic design. So hopefully, whenever we do get to drift events, maybe I can do some, or maybe when we get back filming vlogs, I can give a hand out editing somehow, or maybe I can just take Josh's job in general. I don't know.
You'd be better than Josh. 100% be better than Josh.
My name is Josh. Like,
I don't think it'd be hard, would it?
No.
In fact, I think you should stop giving Josh so much stick.
Sorry?
I think you should stop giving Josh so much stick.
Ah, man.
Where he had England flag behind him other day.
Yeah.
Very patriotic, mate.
I didn't need to give stick. The comments did the job for him there. He said, people are hating on me. I was like, obviously, Josh, just take down the flag. He's like, no. But
I wish I should have probably looked at the comments and I'd have stuck up for him.
Yeah,
he's a Yorkshire lad.
Is there still quite a bit of banter in the Drift Games office with the English v everybody else?
Not really, no. We've already won that battle with Jesus. It's grand, like.
You basically converted him, haven't you?
Yeah. He's one of us now. Like, you wouldn't even understand him now. His parents don't understand him or not anymore. Like, his whole family don't know what he's saying.
They never did.
So what have you been up to, Toby?
I got furloughed very early on because I'm a chef, so I've literally done a bit of cooking at home, and then barring that, like, just been sitting pretty, looking out on my balcony, dreaming of days when we can go drifting. I've been shouting at people off the balcony, like.
Oh, what were you doing? I'm sure I've seen something on Facebook the other day about something we're going off down there.
There's been all sorts going on down that street. Honestly, I'm thinking about getting like a webcam and just leaving it on and streaming it out. Like,
could you not shout out to people on the street? Do you want any food or just start chefing up?
I've also been thinking about getting a Nerf gun and shooting people off the balcony as well, because I thought that'd be a good pastime as well. As trying to put past, like,
or a real gun.
I mean, that's potential.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Illegal. I don't know. Like,
start with the Nerf first and see if we get on.
What's that behind you?
Yeah. Searchlight.
Looks like a hairdryer.
It's because
just in case.
It's over there. It's like casting couch sometimes, like.
You could do it on a slide, Matt.
Don't know what you mean.
So obviously, both you two work in the tower. You're the track managers. What does that consist of? What do you do while you're up there?
I just stand around. I look pretty. Have my shades on most of the time.
Yeah.
Get busy with savage profile pictures. That's about it, really. Like, it's an easy job.
Like, it's basically what don't you do when you're a track manager. Like, people look at it and think it's a very easy job. You're just watching drifting, but you're actually communicating every single play the whole way through the event, like from start of practice to the end of the final. From releasing cars, making sure it's safe, informing marshals, medics, whatever's needed. You're also dealing with commentators, judges throughout the event, and just making sure you run a smooth event. Like, it's stressful, but it's a lot of fun. I love it.
It's an important job role, isn't it? There's overlooked quite a lot, I think.
You have to be like kind of invested in every area. You need to know exactly what's going on. You need to know what's happening each time. Like, you have people down on the ground, and that's why you have good people in them positions. Like, but you also have to know what they're doing or why they're doing it. That sort of way. it's like everything is coming back through you. You're like an information hub to pass it on to everyone else.
You feel the pressure in the middle of an event, like, because you're dealing with the live stream, you're dealing with the commentators, you're dealing with the judges, and like the judges can take 3 or 4 minutes to make a decision, but that in a fact can hold up a whole event at the same time, because they're just chatting away between themselves about what's going on. Sometimes, like, I know it's needed for calls, but sometimes you can't tell whether it's a serious conversation or just
or they just forget.
What are you at?
It does happen. There's sometimes you look at them going, oh, they're having a really good discussion, and the guys could be talking about what to go and have for lunch, because they've already made up the decision and didn't inform me to release the next carriage, like for it.
And the full million people watching are all waiting to see what Kieran's having for tea.
Kieran.
Start telling people. Maybe I'll do that. Round 1, we'll just start telling people what's going on.
It's good fun though. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a bit of a thing. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know actually what you did or what you do up there. So that's obviously why I've got you on here, so you can let people know and people can learn a bit about you.
It's like it's a hidden job, like, but it's one of them jobs. I've never done it for, to people know who I am or anything like that. I've always done it because I'm a massive passionate fan of drifting. I love drifting. I got the opportunity to get working for Dave and get, the job to be the track manager at drift events in Ireland. And when I was a fan, these events look flawless. So I just want to make sure I do the same thing for the fans that are there today. They come in to see this crazy, flawless event. Sometimes I'm pulling my hair out and running around behind the scenes to make it perfect, but has to be done. Someone has to do it.
Should probably point out at this point that I actually worked under Mike for a full year at BDC and IDC before I managed to take my role on as well.
What's the
hard time lived in my house as well. He did it.
Is it when the apprentice became the master or something like that?
I don't know about that. Like,
Matt, I came to you that day when
I don't know what to do.
When Matt was taking over the championship, I looked at him and said, if you don't pick Toby, you're gone.
Yeah, we're no brainer, wasn't it?
So Toby didn't actually steal your job? It was just
passing the torch stuff. Like, he dominates England, I dominate Ireland. We're just going to dominate everywhere.
That's head to head now all the time.
They're like, we can't. Me and Adam were like, we'll play them against each other. We'll get them going. But they're like, we love each other. We're both great at our jobs. I'm best at Ireland. I'm best at England.
My first ever thing working for Dave was a competition called the Drift Superstar competition, right? So he got a load of random people.
We have to talk about this, like.
Yeah, that was literally where I met Toby. I met him through that competition, and he started coming over to events, and we seen him. And then once we got working in Ireland or England, we needed guys. That was it. He was an over.
Sorry, was that the thing where? What is that? How you did that, Toby? So you entered or something, and total random came and did the tuition or something.
3 days. It was 3 days, and you won the sponsor drive in the amateur championship. Ryan Morton, actually, the driver, won that. Yeah, he won that, and Dave gave him a car for a year.
And what about Toby?
We just want to talk about my drifting.
No, but Toby entered the competition, and me and Toby got on. He was a nice guy. He was good crack.
You're like shit at drifting, but good crack.
Yeah, that's what
Toby was driving in that. That's how we actually first met Toby. That was like 5 years ago or something like that, Toby, was it?
I thought you meant like you flew him over to do a bit of marshalling for it or something.
It started from there, and then once we were working in England, it was a no-brainer because he was just sound. That sort of way.
Such a nice romance.
Yeah, it's a bromance. It's always going to be a bromance. It's like you two. You're the perfect love couple at a drift event as well. Me and Toby are going to be at this year at BDC.
We're not anymore. We've had a bit of a divorce now. Matt's got a job, and I'm just driving.
I can't be seen in too many places with him. That's why I quite like these. It's like old times, and I'm nothing to do with BDC. I'm like that idiot from Slide. Do you know him?
Smashing Slide here, not BDC.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't have BDC chatting these things, can you? Where we're just getting pissed and having a laugh.
BDC is a professional thing.
It's Matt from Slide who we're talking to at the minute. So, what got you into drifting, boys? Where did you start? And can you get it to take you up to how you got the job doing the track manager?
Do you want to go on there, Tob?
No, you start, Mike.
If you really want, I'll go first.
Sorry.
I mean, yours is probably more longer and boring than I first saw drifting in the UK at Silverstone when the D1GP did their exhibition round. And just was like, that's mad, like, that is a savage sport. And I just sort of progressively started following it more and more. I think the hardship with being a chef is that we work weekends. It's the nature of the beast, and that is our busy period. So it wasn't often that I'd get a weekend off to go and see it. And so when I did, I made sure that I could try and get it off around, and went and watched when it was the EDC really, as well as the BDC back in the UK, and moved through those sort of periods. Then a few years ago, I moved to Dubai for a while, and whilst I was over in Dubai, I was just like mad on the drifting. It was a way to get me through my time off, was watching live streams and stuff when they became more and more prevalent in the BDC, in the IDC, and other championships around the world where you could get in with watching it. I did go over to the Pro Drift Academy whilst I was over there as well and have a look at that. And that's one of those things. Then having landed
So did you do any driving?
I didn't drive at that point. I was petrified of driving at that point. Like, I just thought it was one of them cool sports and just loved watching it. I was just like hooked on that kind of the side of it. My dad was into rally cars and stuff when he was younger, and he used to marshal and did a bit of rallying himself. And I think having someone that's into motorsport, it kind of fosters. And as when we were younger, we used to go watch like the BTCC and stuff like that. And so I think I'd always wanted a motorsport, but I'd never found one that really worked for me. And drifting seemed to fit my kind of sort of style and who I am. Then after landing back, obviously, like Mike said, I flew over to do the competition. As it happens, drifting is not something that I should probably do.
Had you done any driving before you went and did that competition?
I'd never drifted before.
That was the idea. It was all random people. Like no one had ever competed or drove before, so we taught them, and I think that was what the idea was.
That was the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
We taught them. Are you teaching as well?
Oh no, this is my first ever event. I was running for cones and starting cars. Like I didn't even talk to them back then.
Yeah,
I was running for cones.
Back in the day, like. So I went over and did that, and I killed a couple of cones. So maybe I could say I'm a drifter, because the amount of cones that they went through in the BDC last year was unreal. So maybe I am. Maybe, yeah, exactly.
Adam there, yeah, that was me.
With NEC, where you put them 3 cones out, I did put my hand up in briefing and say I didn't want them there, but one of my friends come with his little boy, and he were counting. I think I did 17 cones, wiped them all out.
You on your own?
Yeah.
You owe me for them cones.
There's a separate call going to happen after this.
Yeah, about the cones, mate.
Probably wouldn't have admitted to that, Adam.
It's alright, I'll go on a date night with him, nick a few.
Well, the legitimate cones, mate. Don't know what you're saying.
Motorway drives. So after that, the next year, they sort of the first round, wasn't it? I think, Mike, Rockingham. They were looking for someone to help do setup and breakdown and stuff, and I'd managed to get a bit of time off. So I went down and did a round down there, and sort of just started really from there learning the ins and outs. But after doing that first round, where I got to know the lads, did the second round in the UK, and then started going over to Ireland and doing rounds in Ireland as well. So pretty much
2017, Tobes?
This would have been, yeah.
Yeah, 2017 is so, yeah.
So I'd say for the next 2 years after that, really, I pretty much did every round in the UK and Ireland. I flew backwards and forwards, and then did the ones in the UK. A couple of rounds I even jumped in van and went back on a road trip on tour with the boys. Like, and I mean, it's always a good crack. We had like backgrounds. I think it was Driftland and Mondello, and then just did some of the bigger events, you know, Dunleary and stuff like that. And the thing was, because I'd done that, I just learned the ins and outs of the event. I went and spent time in every area, really, and got pushed from pillar to post as it went. And it was great for me because I just got an insight into everything that went on in drifting. And because when I was going over, I was spending more time, I'd be in the office with the lads at Drift Games as it was, and was sort of seeing the other side of the business and things as well. So I very quickly learned everything that went on from an event from start to finish, planning and the ways around it, and managed to speak to people and get an understanding. And then started gunning for Mike's job, really. That was it. I was just...
I got afraid. I told David, "Sell it quick, me, get out of here. Toby's going to take my job. I don't want to do this." So.
And then obviously, the middle of the year when Matt had decided to get hold of the BDC, we had a few chats through the year, through the season. Obviously, I'd spoken to the Irish lads as well, and they were just like, "Look, really, you know, you're a strong part of our team." And
so they told you the inside information that Matt.
I knew the lowdown way before.
Quite early, didn't you? I told you quite
Toby
early.
was in from nearly day one, like.
And yeah, like Matt had asked me if I would like the role, and like hand on heart, again, like what Mike says, it's not about just doing it. It's the fun of the event, the drift family and everything, like being involved in it is unreal. And I know that everyone that's involved in drifting says exactly the same about the family orientation. And the thing was that I got it on both sides. It was great for me because I could land in Ireland and be just as friendly with everyone as I can in the UK. And to say that you're a marshal or a track manager or anything to do with the setup and breakdown team, like it's a really nice feeling to be included in that, because you're not in the pits, you don't talk to people all day every day, you know, like most of the crew do, and sometimes you're very removed, like especially as a track manager, you spend your full event in a tower and no one sees you, and a lot of people probably, apart from all the photos that I get, don't even really know I'm there. And I think that's it, where you kind of get down to the point where you still get to talk to people and you still get really friendly, and I think that's a really attractive part of the BDC and Irish drifting as well. So obviously settled into that role last year and worked with Matt through the whole of the season, the first season, and it was great. You know, it was tough. I think everything I'd learned didn't really prepare me entirely for what happened in that year.
You got a good first
rate that we had last season was bizarre, but yeah, no, it was a step-by-step thing, and we sort of moved forward and learned a lot more than I already learned, so it was good.
Yeah, you definitely smashed the graph, didn't you, Tobes? Like, no one will see that people turn up to an event and, like, you were basically the first one there. You and Dave, to be fair, Dave smashed the horse as well, at every event. At the same time as I rocked up there before me or whatever.
Definitely before, yeah.
I turned up late in my supercar, living the dream. And that.
It's what happens when you Dave. Dave does it as well, doesn't he, Mike?
Yeah.
But even
you can piss off. I grafted.
Yeah.
Don't compare me to Dave.
Matt, hang on. When we even like the slide stuff, when we set the pits up and that, it was like we'd had all gazebos and everything, like 2 years until you learnt that the sides all
hey, mate, phone's crackling. Don't know what you're saying.
You know, then you just go around talking to everybody.
I appreciate that you think I'm a good grafter, though, Adam. That's nice of you, mate. Appreciate it.
You do, mate. You work hard.
Yeah. What I was actually getting at before you rudely interrupted, not about me. Toby has grafted like a trooper all last year, proper. Smashed some mega hours in, and then when you absolutely knackered at the end of the event, we've then got to fully tidy up, which you've took lead on, haven't you, really, on sorting all that shit and breaking it all down while
I think it's another thing that people forget that goes on, like what Adam was saying about what we actually do as well. You know, like it's great for them because they turn up to an event and they see everything happen, but it's what actually happens to get to that point. Like we use a go-kart track, and when you get there, it looks savage, but how does it change from a go-kart track to that? Like that doesn't happen like that, like a click of a finger. And there's other lads as well. Like we say, Matt obviously does get involved, and I don't deny that really. I mean, sometimes I've seen him with a stage, but like they're big parts of it. And the teardown after an event is great, isn't it? You know, 6 o'clock and everyone mad rushes to get home, and like we've still got 4 or 5 hours of tearing the place and leaving it ready to give back over. Like it's
in the rain.
Yeah,
in the rain,
and the dark,
in the dark,
and the dark.
Jesus. I'm glad that was the last round of that year because I don't think I'd have come back after that.
So what about you, Mike? What got you into it? Where did you start? Leading up to where you are now.
Where do you start? Well, my parents live local to Mondello Park in Ireland, so I've been always going down there as a young age. My father used to bring me down the whole time. I seen drifting for the first time. I think it was about 12 or that. It was at an event called Japfest. Didn't really know what it was. We just went down. It looked busy. It was a huge modified car show that I loved, and there was this crazy 2 cars smoking the place out of it, and I was just, what's that? Hooked straight away. Did the best to find out as much as possible, and a cousin of mine was actually had a few friends and was a bit involved in it. So through him, I met one of the drivers in Ireland. He was semi-pro driver, Kevin Kindrigan. Me and Kev then became really good friends. Like he lived close enough to me. You know, I gave him a good hand out for a few years, painted his car a few times when he crashed it. And if you know Kev, he crashes it a lot. Then from there, Kev was instructing in the Pro Drift Academy at the time in Mondello. So just one day, the guy who was meant to load didn't turn up, and he rang me and he goes, "There's a day's work in Mondello, working here now with Dave and Jack Shanahan and all these people. If you're here in 10 minutes. I swear to God, I dropped everything. I ran. I was like, yep, straight over. Got in there, did the job, met Dave, everything. It was good fun, had a really good day. Drifted for the first time there as well. The guys took me out in the cars. And then just we were chatting away, me and Dave, and he was only after buying a new 180 for the Drift Superstar competition that Toby did. And he was like, oh, I need to paint his car by next week. And I was like, oh, I'm an apprentice panel beater. And he was like, oh, are you? And I was like, yeah, I'll paint it, you know, bother. He was
But
like,
if you're an apprentice panel beater, what are you doing painting cars?
Yeah, do you know
That's two separate jobs, mate.
listen, at this stage now, when Dave Egan wanted something, I was jumping straight. I had the opportunity to get my foot in the door.
Wait,
right?
just hold it. So now if Dave wants something.
Oh, God, no. No. Stop. But, yeah, from there, I ended up rattle canning a 180 for him, which I thought, he goes, yeah, I want to paint a rattle cans, be quick and easy. And I just looked at him and went, all right, yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yes, I've just flagged this job.
Yeah.
If you want a rattle can job, perfect.
But yeah, I painted the car from, then he wanted a hand out at the Drift Superstar competition. I was like, yep, no bother, I'll do that. And while I was just taking days off work to do all this as well, was the best thing. I was just ringing in sick and everything. I was like, I didn't care about panel beating. And then just from there, we just built a relationship. I started working kind of part-time for him. I used to pack the truck and all for his first year of BDC. Pack the truck up, but I didn't go to BDC. I used to send it over and then unload it when I came home. And I did ADC and IDC track marshalling, things like that. Was doing gridding for a couple of years, and then just from there, it moved into full time in 2017 and just went crazy, like absolutely crazy. And now, like, thank God, drifting is my full time job. Like, I love it. I do anything for it. Like, and it's just been a crazy roller coaster. I've been, you know, I've track managed in Saudi Arabia, I've track managed in Abu Dhabi, I've track managed in the UK, in Ireland. You know, as Toby was saying about Dunleary, we've only done 3 Dunlearys and it's probably never going to happen again. And I was a big part in all 3 of them.
Not again until next year.
No. I picked up something up there. And I if Eddie says the word Dunleary, like, I'm just not going to work for him.
I love that spot. Like, it's savage.
Yeah. It's a good event, like, but Toby, you back me up, like, it's some stress. Like, I used to fly him in on the Tuesday before it, and we'd be like, Tuesday we'd be build the shop and welding grates, and then Wednesday the barriers be going in, we'd be watching that and start painting.
We start painting the track. There is some amount of painting in that track.
Dave was like, oh, chevrons would look deadly, and we were like, yeah. And then the next year, was like, no, it took too long. I think he did in 1 year, and then he said never again, you know. But it's crazy, like, it's good. I've been blessed with the opportunities I've got in drifting, and I just don't want it to stop, really.
So what does your job consist of at Drift Games? Obviously, people see you in a lot of videos and stuff like that, but I'm sure just that cool stuff.
Video is a very small part of mine. Like, sometimes when a video idea comes up, you're kind of like, shit, I need to clear up some schedule to go do that because that sounds like fun, you know, that sort of thing. So I run the Drift Games experience in Mondello, so I deal with Mondello Park on that while we're in Mondello. Organising all the days, instructors, run them through. I manage them. Sometimes I instruct during the week as well. I also do all the online merch. So Adam runs the shop end online and the merch, but I do all the physical, packing the order and sending them out. I deal with all the drift cars, and as you know, Dave, he braces drift cars. It is a headache. And then I do all the work with the vans, the maintenance work and things like that, and then just a general donkey work around the office as well. Like, and I'm a professional, official Drift Games idiot.
You've nailed it, mate. Absolutely nailed it.
It's a start from the bottom that we're here, you know.
Yeah. So basically, anybody who's watching, if they want something bad enough, just keep
an eye on
it, and you will get it.
Enough places, and that's all.
It proves it, doesn't it? All jokes aside, like, you've seen an opportunity and you've chased it. You've done it, and if someone needed something doing, you know, you've done it. You've cracked on and done it.
Before I got that opportunity, like, I used to live drifting. Like, I used to be at every round. I used to take the Fridays off to go to the practice days. That's how much I used to love drifting. I'd help Kev out on the Saturday, and I'd be sitting there all day long in Mondello up on the bank just watching the Sunday, like. And then from there, you know, getting to meet the people and know people through it, and then it became an addiction. Like, it really did. Like, it became a huge part of my life. And I used to be in school, and I'd be talking about drifting. Like, I was playing football at the time, and all the guys were like, you know, but cars isn't cool. And I'd be like, you just have to watch it. There's 2 cars crashing into each other on walls. Like, it's just unbelievable. Once I smelled half an opportunity, I was taking it.
So your 2 cars, like your drift cars, I'm sure I've seen Toby post about an E46.
I've sold it. I've sold it.
You sold it?
I actually got rid of it. No, I moved house in December, and the place that I've moved to, I don't have space for a car, so I ended up selling it. But I think I will be getting another one at some point. It was just more of a financial situation that I had to deal with at the time. And I think everyone that's in drifting is fully aware of the financial complications.
So did you build that car and then never use it, really?
It had done a couple of track days, but yeah, basically it never, like, I'd spent a lot of money and time at it, but just, the thing was, I think between doing events, because obviously at the time I was doing IDC, BDC and working, I couldn't really physically fit it in. Like, there was no free time left. So I was just like, why am I doing this? And then eventually it just got to the point where something had to give. And I think being part of the BDC and doing the Irish stuff was more of a priority to me than building my own car was. You know, like, it would have been great to spend more time in it, but I couldn't fit it in. So in the end, up that went, and the role being involved is far more important to me now. And
I suppose you're making money from doing it rather than spending money.
Smart thing, Adam. That's the thing you don't realise.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah. Also, you went down a completely different route. You're never making money.
So what about you, Mike? You've got a couple of drift cars. What are they?
I can't even think what you've got. What have you got?
I have a 328 E46 there at the moment. I've had that for the last 2 years, 2 different engines in it, just as for the bashes and fun. Like, people think I drift the whole time, and with the experience I do, but with my own car I never get a chance. I never even want to look at my own car. I never want to do work on my own car, because it's just, the last thing you want to do in your spare time is work on another drift car.
I remember the last time I flew in and you were like, "Hey, Tobes, come and look at this," and started it up, and I was just like, dear God, what have you done?
But then I recently decided that with Josh getting a cool car, I couldn't let him get away. My little banger wasn't going to do anymore, so I went off and bought a 350Z.
Wait, did you just say Josh has got a cool car?
Yeah,
now Mike's
been now. It's going to grow probably when it gets to the track, but when you look at it, it's unbelievable.
He's new Low Origin member, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I never even thought of that, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I bought the 350 thinking this is it. We're doing 4 bashes this year. I'm going to get load of seat time, bit of power now. I'll be happy out the door. And then what happens? This fires happens. So I've done nothing with it. I did a video where me and Josh stripped it out and wrecked this, taking out a seat, and that's all. The car is set since that. That's it.
Why did you make such a fucking pig's ear of that?
The seat was broke, and it was an electronic seat. We just could not get it to wind at all. Like,
why did you cut the seat up to get to the bolt rather than cutting the car up?
Like, so low down. We didn't cut the car up. We just decided to rock it a bit to try and bend the seat up. And then next thing you know, I just tore the metal. I looked out, I was like, yeah, I'll just weld a bit.
I was watching it, I was going, sure Mike's a panel beater.
Oh no,
he's a panel beater.
Like, Josh, you take out that seat. Like, and he took out one seat and he was flying. And I was like, it's grand, I'll take out the interior. And then the second one, he was at it for like an hour. I was like, oh my God. But then in fairness, it was very difficult. You couldn't even get your hand onto the bolt. Like, it was ridiculous. He wanted to just get a grinder and cut through the seat. Like,
yeah, that's what I did. You're not using it, tell you.
English man saying sense.
No, because this is, with the Beamer, I did whatever I wanted with it. Like, it was very rough, I built it. It was off spare parts, whatever was lying around, I didn't care about it. But this car, I actually want to try and make into some sort of a nice car to hopefully one day, engage and put an LS in it and move on from there. Like,
is that what you're doing, LS?
That would be the plan, hopefully, in a couple of years, yeah. Seems to be what all the cool kids are doing, so why not? Look at Matt there. He's like, I was on that bus years ago.
Yeah, I can remember putting yours out, pal.
What's going on with your car? Yeah, I remember no, I was in the tower for that one, but I never put that one out.
Who put it out? Probably Jason. I'm there taking piss out of Jason.
Well, maybe it's his final saving grace. He's actually done something right for once.
Yeah, no, he's a good lad. He's a good kid.
Yeah. Nah, I love the guy. He's a good guy.
How was your car, Adam? I see it behind
my
you.
Car? Mine's ready to go.
Ready to go, just waiting.
Literally ready to go. We all this time off. I've got my Z3 ready as well.
Nice.
Practice car. So I've literally got. In fact, I took it for MOT the day with Z3.
Nice.
That passed. So I've got that on road now. So I've been going out doing a few roundabouts and stuff like that while the roads are quiet.
Yeah.
Obviously in Mexico, yeah.
In Mexico, 100%. I got a plane in Mexico.
Have you fixed your shifter yet?
Yeah.
Have you done that with your car, Matt, or is it just still hiding away?
Currently, it's sat with a cover over it and then the casting couch upside down on top of the sofa, on top of the car.
A good safe location.
The couch is worn out, so he had to take it out of his office and leave it
New
on
couch
top of his
No, the car's coming back. If I can't show you a photo of it, but I've got a new engine and a turbo that's How big, Adam?
Bigger than his head.
Nice.
Like that big?
Nice.
Matt keeps telling us it's a Garrett 42, 77 or something. But
as long as it's a Middle East spec, that's all that matters.
It's bigger. It's bigger than his head. It's bigger than a GT 42.
It's a GT 57-900 times 2.
I could, if I could be bothered, I could probably insert the picture here.
No, we can't. Internet can't see it. Internet's not allowed to see
Not
it.
an effort to do it here.
I can't be bothered to do that shit anyway.
Too much effort.
But no. Next question. So, Mike, you've obviously been to a lot of places with drift games. You've got a lot of opportunities to go all over the world. Yeah. What is like the craziest thing that you've got to do with drift games?
I've
sure
done
a couple.
I've done a lot of crazy, nearly everything. Like it's some days you could just go into Mondello and it can turn into the craziest day ever. Like there's a lot of randomness with it, and that's what I do love. Like there's no 2 days that are the same. The best thing or craziest situation I was in has to be the car show we were at in Saudi there last year. It was just insane. Everyone was there. Like there was just the Saudi Arabian prince just got everyone from the car scene in the world and just brought them to one place at the same time. And Terry Grant was doing loop-de-loops. We were doing a drift event, and then there was like Tessa and all the girls were drifting up the top in 350s, and then there was a man getting shot with a cannon. The hoonigan guys had a burnout yard. I met Bill Goldberg, like Bill Goldberg was there. He's a wrestler. I don't know what that was about. I was like, yes, there's Goldberg. Like we met Ryan from West Coast Customs, and it was just like insane. And the best thing is we got a pass that said all access, and like we could just walk wherever we wanted. And it was very restricted on where you could go at what times. So it was very cool. Like that was probably the best experience.
Yeah, my missus was there, weren't she, with Tessa?
Yeah, she was there at all as well. Yeah, it was like people we met.
You what, sir?
The people we met there, like it was just you're walking around, you're like, he's a YouTube channel and he's on a YouTube. You know what I mean? Like everyone was just in one place at one time, like which was really cool.
But yeah, she said the best thing about it was that guy in the cannon. Like she videoed him and she said as soon as she got back and she had some Wi-Fi, said it was she like, look at this guy.
It was just I remember.
Were it not like a bloke who actually got in a cannon?
And shot out.
Over top of Terry Grant's loop or something?
No, he shot himself like 30 meters in the air or something like that. Like he just went a ridiculous height onto this big, massive blow up like trampoline. But where he was landing was actually where our drift cars were initiating, right? Because there was a lot at one time in this it was just a big slab basically. So we had Terry finished his loop-to-loop, then we could go out and then start setting up our track, but we couldn't set up the first corner because we had to wait for a man to be shot out of a cannon, and then he had to deflate his bed, roll it up, put it in. Then they're like, right, you've 2 hours to do a top 8. And we're like, all right, grand. It goes, you have to be finished by 9 o'clock because there's 10,000 euros worth of fireworks going off at 9 o'clock. We were like, all right, grand. So we're like trying to get through this competition as quick as possible to have the podium with all these fireworks and all. But it was insane. It was like such a random event.
You've just mentioned the slab. Schlab.
Yeah, slab.
Is that, obviously, because we're from UK, we don't know what that is. Is that a certain place, or is there like a lot of them?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Oh,
so all around.
I didn't know because like some Irish lads talk about it.
Yeah.
Like when they all go to this schlab.
No, it's not like Mondello. It's not
just north of Dublin. You know, the schlab.
I'll send you a location there. No, it's an area, tarmac that you get like different days basically where lads just go out do rings around the cone and think that it's fun. I don't know. I'm sure it is fun if you're doing it, but I'd rather have a bit more power and being like third gear going around the track in the dry. That sort of way.
Mike, I remember going to a schlab with you in UAE.
Oh, we went to a schlab together. Oh, yeah, Matt, we had a good experience that holiday. Are we going to talk about that trip? Like, there's a lot.
Literally, Dave rang me and said, "So, do you want to come judging in UAE? We're going it was literally next week or something, weren't it? We're going tomorrow or something." I
think it was 3 days notice. We were kind of sitting there going right, we need a pro driver to judge because we said we'd have pro drivers. Who has a business that could drop something? And then literally just Matt posts up on Facebook I wonder what Matt's doing.
But I got sold the dream.
Sure you didn't go, who likes to go on holiday and will drop anything to go away from that?
And then before we get over there, it turns out Martin Richards was just there anyway.
On holiday anyway.
On holiday over there at the time and came to the event.
That turned into a savage trip though, didn't it? There were some stressful, tired moments.
Yeah, we're out painting the track. Me and Dave slept at a track. We didn't even get any sleep really. I think we finished painting the track at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and drivers arrived like 8 o'clock, and we just sat there waiting, and then did a whole day's
I
event.
think it was cheating, like NEC straight through the night, straight into the day.
So
Like
where were
that's how the big boys
Matt?
roll.
How
Like
come
no.
How
I
come
don't
you
want
and
to.
Dave were painting the track? Where
Right.
were Matt?
No, right.
You
What happened?
sold me off then. I only nipped back for a
No,
little.
no, right. No, yeah, that's right. That's wrong. That's wrong. We were all painting the track, and we got wrong measurements, or something happened, and we had to like rechange the plan. Kieran Hines, and it was war. We were killing each other. Like it was tough times now forever because everyone was tired.
I was the voice of reason between.
Yeah.
Dickhead 1, Dickhead 2, and Dickhead 3.
Peace between Team Drift Games.
Were you doing your thing, Matt, where you go, look, lads, there's no point getting stressed. We can't do anything about it. Let's just sort it.
Getting stressed ain't going to achieve anything, boys. Let's just take a minute, have a second. Let's fucking sort this out.
I've heard that chat loads of times.
Well, no, we decided because Matt and Nigel were there just helping us, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. We said, you boys go to the hotel and get like 2 hours sleep and a shower. And then Josh just randomly had to go upload videos at the same time. He went off and got a shower as well. So me and Dave just like sat at the track, and I was on a container floor trying to sleep, and it was just so cold because everyone thinks the desert's great. It's not great at night time. It's very, very cold at night time.
It worked though, didn't it?
It worked out though. We had a good event.
Didn't you be sick out of a car window and all, Matt?
It was actually a monster truck. Do you know the monster truck that do sampling out with the fridge and
like the monster truck, the monster truck.
Yeah,
I don't remember it.
Truck, yeah. Of course you don't remember it.
That was the first time I properly met Nigel Colfer, and he pulled me on it the next day. We're like, oh, it's this.
Yeah, the next morning, Colfer just threw him a rag and go, you want to clean the side of the truck there?
I couldn't decide if he were joking or not. And I was like, oh no, he's being pretty serious here. I'm going to have to clean my own sick off of it.
We got picked up in the nightclub by Nigel in the monster truck. It was me, you, Josh, and Dave. And we had a load of Monster Energy cans in the fridge to back. So we just decided, why not? Let's just sample outside this nightclub. We started handing out cans and playing tunes and all from the truck.
Who was Mike? Who was singing? What artist? What singer were on that night?
Oh, I can't even remember who he was. But him and you bought the BDC or something like that night, I think.
I think that's when it happened. That's when it started.
That's when it started. We planted a seed in your head that night. It was a conspiracy.
Funny times.
So, back to the questions. Boys, we'll ask you, Toby. What is your best drifting memory?
Jeez.
Something that stands out the most to you?
There's so much that goes on, like what Mike was saying, like it's unreal the things that happen. I think the standout memory so far for me was probably giving results the first time Drift Masters came to Mondella, because at that point I was still on the ground and was still a marshal. So you know what I mean, like when you've been watching drifting on forever and a day, like stood there giving results to the likes of James Dean and like Forrest Wang had come over and all sorts, and you're just stood there talking to the lads and giving them a pat on the back when they've like gone through, or sorry lad when they've not. And it's a very surreal situation because you've seen these guys for years on live stream and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's you that stood in front of them telling them whether they've gone through or not.
You're like,
they're looking at you like, God,
they hate you at that time as well. They absolutely hate you. I hate doing results.
But I'd say that was definitely up there. There's been so.
Telling Forrest Wang to go home.
Yeah.
He said off, pal.
This lad's mileage after showing you up.
I think, but then like some of it was really awkward working in Ireland. Like the amount of times that I got caught by the camera listening to the Irish national anthem stood between all the Irish drivers, and there's me just stuck out. And you'd have like Keane Leonard going, "No, Toby, a true Irishman." And I'm like, just because I'm ginger, all right? Like, there's no need to be like that.
We the first time we come to Ireland, me and Matt, years ago to watch. I think it was at Japfest like 2013 or 14 or something. Like, well, it was the first year Dave did it, but they did the national anthem, and we just assumed it were going to be the English national anthem. We didn't realise that you had a different one. So we were stood in stands up. We were like, "This is fucking national anthem.
What's this now?" So I just nod my head, yes.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, we're actually in a different country. We're not."
I think the main problem here is we're probably pissed.
Yeah, more than likely. Like
you lads do not drink.
I remember.
Never. I've only got this tinny left with half in, and then I've got a bottle of Bailey's. Well, it's not. It's Ballycastle Aldi version.
Yes.
I thought, because we've got Irish on, we'll have a bit of Baileys.
A bit of Baileys. I remember the first time he came over to Jaffas. I think it was like my first year working before he's come over, Jay and Ben as well. And I remember we all ended up in Coppers, and I was just like, these slide boys are just mad rats. It was some good night. Like, I was like, they're on the same wavelength as us.
Yeah, we clicked straight away, didn't we?
Yeah, I think. I don't think I've ever got back on boat coming home from Ireland without an hangover.
So,
some of them have been worse than others.
Hopefully we can get back to around this year now and get the hangover at some stage.
Yeah. So what's your best drift memory, Mike? Something that stands out most to you?
I think you just asked him that, didn't you?
Oh,
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi was kind of.
Fuck's sake.
You want the baby shatter, yeah.
I'd say a joint memory though, Mike, could probably be Sultan's party after Driftland.
We do not talk of that. That didn't happen.
Yeah, you do. No one watches these. It's fine.
No one watches
these. Oh, the 2 years, yeah. Our buddy Sultan gives us. It just randomly happened that Danny Neville was over. It was Dave's second last year, wasn't it, Toby? Would have been your first year with us.
Yeah.
Danny ended up doing a gig in Edinburgh, and we happened to be staying like 20 minutes away from Edinburgh, and then getting a ferry the next morning. So we just went down, and it just turned into one of them crazy nights. Like,
why are you not allowed to talk about it?
It's not even you can't. There was just some crack. Like, there was never a time where I think a bunch of lads just went, you know what, the event's over. Let's blow off some steam here. You know, that sort of way. And it was just unbelievable. Danny had a deadly set, like, and just everyone was so drunk. I finished up with me, Dave, and Josh and Toby. Or the last man, the nightclub was open till like 5 a.m. or something like that. At a 4:30.
Bank holiday weekend. And
yeah.
Like, oh no, we open till 5 a.m, and we're all like dying, and we're like, oh, we've still got 3 hours. We might as well carry on, boys.
And then Toby ended up just like getting thick with all of us and saying, can we just go home? We're getting a ferry in the morning.
So, Mike, have you been watching BDC last year?
Yes, definitely. I was seeking not to get to all the rounds, but like I think the first round I ended up being in America, and the last round I ended up being in America. So there was like obviously I couldn't go to them. I got over. No, but like
because you've been to America twice.
He changed the event. Blame Matt. Like I was raging.
That was my fault. I'm used to that now.
It's all your fault. Like, but no, this year I really am hoping to get over because I did. It looked like good crack, and I love BDC. You know, like I've been over there for the last 2 years before they passed it over, and you build a relationship up. Same as Toby said. Like it's good to turn up to a different championship and still have a family. Like you can turn and talk to anyone, and it's good to get back now and see everyone again. Like and obviously with Dave driving, hopefully we might actually do some success because apparently he won something. But Matt, you said I wanted to talk to Matt. I still hopefully he won something.
Will we see Josh competing in UK this year?
Not a chance you see Josh in UK.
In Drift Cup, maybe.
Why? Because in semi-pro in Ireland, surely he can drive semi-pro.
Yeah, fair dues.
He won't. Like he's definitely.
I think his mum will come and watch.
He said like, "Oh, I want to go do a round. I'd love to do a round. I'd love to do a round." And I think he regrets it now. Like I'm not even messing. There's a lot of eyes and a lot of pressure on him, but he is a very good driver. Like, and I do.
I think the problem with it is Josh is from like the same area as me, pretty much like 20 minutes away. So it's like an hour. Every track's like an hour and a half away. So his family would probably come and watch you.
Yeah,
he could do a full season.
He could do a full season, but then that's another card I have to mind over there. That's just like Saturday's a very easy day when you're working for a pro driver. Like you can't be here at like 3 o'clock on the Saturday and still be in bed for 8.
So if you've been watching it, Mike, who do you think's going to win Pro and Pro 2 this coming season?
This is start. Pro 2, I'd be looking. You can't look back. You can't really rule them out. Louis Edwards as well. Like they came over last year with us.
Louis moved up now.
Is he moved up?
Both.
He's in Pro.
Or they're both in Pro, are they?
They're both.
What's happening, Adam? What, if it's in a ghost, mate.
Hang on, Loz come in. Loz is coming.
It's lads only this. Tell to get.
What have I done? Typical bloke.
Panic face, that was.
The door just swung open.
Hello.
Yeah, get out.
See you in a bit, Loz.
Right, back to the thing.
Pro 2, I'm not sure. Like, there's a lot of good lads coming in from Drift Cup every round last year that I was watching, and there's definitely, it's going to be a tough championship. And I think you've a good few Irish going over this year as well.
Yeah, there is.
I'd be interested to watch some of the guys now because they've had a good bit of seat time. That sort of way, and they want to go new tracks as well. Like, which I'm sure the UK guys want to do the same. Pro, Adam, I'm looking at you. If you don't win a championship soon, man, I'm going to slap you, I think. Like, but boy, like, I'm rooting for you for so long. Like, keep letting me down here. I know, definitely you or Martin Wanacott, but like Ollie as well. Like, is Ollie going to do a full season or is he heading off? Evans.
Oh, Evans.
Yeah,
Ollie.
Yeah, we'll do.
Full season. So it'd be 3 ye be who I be, in my opinion. But then again, you never know. Like, the first round is the most important one.
Yeah. What about you, Toby?
Pro 2, I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting year this year. I think Robbie Burgoyne looked savage at Driftland last year, and obviously I know he's been working to try and sort that car out. So I think that'll be an interesting one to see him back because I remember him doing well before. Like what Mike had said, like there's some of the lads from Drift Cup that came up last year definitely put it to people, and I think Battle Royale sort of proved that a little bit last year with some of the underdogs and some of the people that we'd seen floating around that were definitely up there and with the best of the best. And I think it'd be an interesting season in Pro 2. In Pro, I don't know. I think Martin Wanacott did some amazing stuff last year, and it's one of those. I think it was very unfortunate, really, towards the end of the season. Didn't have the smoothest of seasons, and I'd like to see him do well. Like, he's a great guy. I think if the battle between him and Hugh carries on this year, I think that'll make it a very interesting season to carry on through that as well. Like, but I think there's other people, like you just said about Ollie Bolton, and I think he sort of proved his worth last year as something else.
Yep, definitely.
I think he's a very talented driver, and he's definitely someone to watch through this season as well.
What about Louis? Like Mike said, what about Louis in Pro? Do you think he could step up and do it?
I'm curious now, and like I want to know if he's going to go more power or something like that. There we go. That's what I want. Louis has power, Adam, I should worry about you.
You are?
If Louis has power, you should be worried because I'm telling you now, Louis is one of these line drivers. Like, yeah. I watched him for a whole season in Ireland. He just gets on the line, stays on the line. He's the only guy I see gets it the second attempt and doesn't lose it. That's all right the whole way through a competition. If he's bet, sometimes he's bet by a higher horsepower car and, they pull the gap on him. There's nothing he can do. He has what he has, like, but definitely give him more power and that kid's going somewhere.
I've chatted to, I got pulled against him at Three Sisters last year when he was driving in Pro because he finished top 3. And like talking, like when you're queued up talking to people and stuff, he's like the most relaxed kid you'll ever meet. Like,
just so cool. Yeah, so cool.
He's a quiet kid, like he doesn't really say too much, but when you're talking to him and having a chat and stuff, he's
a good lad.
He's relaxed.
He's a good lad, he is, yeah.
Like, that's kind of how you've got to be, aren't you? A bit relaxed, a bit confident, not feel any pressure.
90% of drifting's in your head, like that's it. Like, some guys, sometimes before qualifying, I used to love it when I was gridding. You could see a lad who was bet before they leave the line. And you're just going like, some lads be running around, can't sit still, panicking, and then you'd look to the likes of, say, James or Jack or something like that, and they'd just be having a laugh, everything's normal. Oh, you want me to get in the car, grand, and just go. They don't even think about what they're doing, like, and that's the biggest part of drifting.
I'm the opposite during qualifying. I'm like, I've got this. It's easy. and then I do a lap and fail miserably. Okay, 33rd, that's mine.
So, say you're both, hypothetical question, you're both driving, you turn up to BDC and your car's broke as you get off trailer. Whose car, you're allowed to use any other driver's car on grid, whose car were you using?
I thought you were going to spin that question and go, you've just been fired from your job role. The job role would you steal?
You've just been fired from being track manager and you're allowed to drive and you're allowed to take anybody's car. Whose car are you taking?
Either Matt or Max, because they get to sit around at events and actually just watch something.
My job's easy, I told you. At the event, if everything's going well, my job is easy. If it's not going well, shit's hitting the fan.
So whose job are you taking, Mike?
Whose job am I taking? Oh, I'd be straight into a driver's car. Definitely, I'd just take a car and go. BDC Prospect car?
Yeah.
Oh,
Take anyone.
all right, there's one I've been looking at for the last little bit, and I think he's building a new car now. I'm not 100% sure, but Shivers is 180. Like, I've always just looked at that car and went, gives a shot. Just gives a shot.
Gives a shot. Why are you saying it's wasted on him?
No, I'm saying he is like, it's just some car it is. Like, it's just unbelievable.
It's a savage car.
Look of it, the spec of it. I think if I could just build an unlimited drift car, I probably would end up building something along those lines. Like, it's just so cool.
That's the next question. So what about you, Toby? If you were driving, you turned up and your car's broke, whose car would you drive?
I'd actually say Hughes. I've got some sort of crush on Hughes' car. Like, I think it's just something completely different. Like, I don't know. It's just the way it sits and the way it looks is just a savage sort of beast, really.
We all love a savage beast.
Yeah, it's a good car. Very good.
Not so much of the beast though. Like,
So obviously, we're building a car and we've got a money's no object build. What chassis and what engine are we having?
Just Sultan's Aston Martin Vantage. If it's unlimited, why wouldn't you?
Just that.
We're out Bailey's now, boys.
Neck it. Take a proper drink.
I think I don't know. I'd probably go down the route of like a solid S15. I think they just seem to sit really nice. Like, you look at like Dean's sort of FD car, and I think they're really nice. But you see some of the other cars on the way up, and
they're like Tophos.
Yeah, maybe not so much, but you know.
But that's exactly the same as James Dean's. It's just been put together by a different person.
It's like the Netto version.
Sometimes I hear Dave Owens swearing about it. It's just unreal.
So we're having an S15. What engine are we having, Toby?
Probably go 2J because I'm one of them boys, and I'm not an LS lover just yet. Like,
no, it's like the noises.
Yeah.
So, who is your favourite driver worldwide? Anybody who you look up to? The one that you go, he's my man.
Oh,
you're not allowed to say James Dean, Mike.
I'd have to say. No. Obviously, James is someone that I love watching him. I've seen him drive in so many different countries, things like that. He's a beast. Like, he is impressive to watch. My favourite driver, I am always rooting for 100% is Jack. I'm a big Jack fan. He's a good friend of mine. He actually, through the Pro Drift Academy years ago, he taught me a lot I know about drifting as well. Like, so, every time I watch him, he just does something. You're like, how does he do that? Or how does he react so quick? Like, and he's just crazy to watch. Like, Jack's a hero.
Jack's the boy. What about you, Toby?
I think it's so hard to say, isn't it? I think there's so many talented drivers out there and stuff. But I think when you go and watch someone that I think will go a long way and is always exciting to watch and brings a lot to drifting, I think it would be Ollie Evans, like, having touched on him. I think he's just a very different and flamboyant driver. Like, and I think the thing is, sometimes you see the rage with him, sometimes you don't. Sometimes he's cool because he's very different in the way that he goes about it. And I think he's always pushed and been there or thereabouts. And I think this year, obviously, with the likes of him going to Drift Masters, it'll be interesting to see how he fares against the best of Europe. Like,
the thing with Ollie is, like, his S14 is a bit fucking ropey. I don't know if you've ever looked round it, and it's got a fucking savage engine in it, but the actual car itself it's been in a lot of crashes.
Like, he did very well in that shit car. If he can pull it together, he has got a bit of that hit and miss to him, hasn't he? Because he pushes hard, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Savage driver, but he pushes hard. So if he can get that level right of pushing correct with a savage car, he's a very, very good contender.
Well, sure, the first year he turned up with it, everyone nearly said that as well. Like, just give him a bit of time, a bit of experience, just to, like, he can chase hard. We all know he can chase hard. But if he can judge it when to do it in the right moment,
I think he's getting that this year,
He is getting that. Last year, he really impressed me. I do love watching him drive now, in fairness.
Do you know whose car it were, Mike? Because that car, his old car, it came from Ireland.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it was
Did it?
Yeah. He bought it from Ireland.
With what engine in it?
With JZ in it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was nice.
That many cars in Ireland going around though. It's hard to keep up all
Because he said he'll never ever buy a car from Ireland ever again.
Need a right.
Get you
Many
cars.
cars are John Shanahan.
But now I've got one last question for you, which is, will we ever see you boys competing?
Oh, do you want to get this? Like pouring a can of Guinness.
Jesus. I'd like to hope so. I genuinely would. Like, I'd like to hope that once I've got things settled back down again, I'll have time to get a car and start over and spend a bit of time getting some seat time. I think I'm sort of in two minds about chefing. I think a lot of it's becoming a very, very stressful job. And obviously, the way things are at the moment, like, I don't know whether the Rona's actually going to kill the industry off as it is. Like, probably have no job at the end of this. So maybe I'll find time now to go skidding all the day. I'd love to say that I get seat time and do it and build a car and work through, most definitely. I think, like what Mike said at the beginning, it becomes part of your life. And I'm sure it's the same when you're a driver and anything else to do with drifting, that you just become hooked on being part of it. And I think the thing is, especially when you're involved in it, it's very easy to call in friends and favours and ask people to come and sit with you and try and guide you. And I think that's the thing now. Like, I'm more in a seat of power where I think if I had time with someone to come and sit next to me, I'd learn. I think the last couple of times I've been over with Mike and done a few skids in the Pro Academy cars, like, it was just like, and the drift game cars, it was.
They're not the Pro Drift Academy cars.
No, that's
not the drift games experience now.
Like,
the art is formerly known as.
I haven't been over in that long.
Has Mike paid you since you took his job?
Yeah, that's
He's not been over to
He came back last year.
I've been out into drift games cars.
Yeah. Once you have last year, you came back.
Just to clarify, yes, I have.
Yes, I have.
Just to clarify, we're still boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
Calm down. He kept the dog in this relationship as well. It's so unfair.
Don't talk about that when Matt's here.
With what?
He says he kept the dog.
What do you mean?
What?
Duke.
What?
I thought you were about with them too.
Yeah. No, one about your dog. I said, don't say it when Matt's here.
Right.
He kept the dog.
Don't talk about me, Dookie.
What about you, Mike? Obviously, we've seen Josh is now competing and taking a back step through the cameras and stuff. Will we ever see you?
I would never say never. Just I love drifting. I really, really love drifting. I'm better than you, Matt. But no, it's competition. I don't know. I think I really enjoy running competition, but for now, I'm happy out the door doing bashes and track days and things like that. I like the fun side of drifting at the moment. You know, that sort of way. Just chill, trains, having fun, just getting close, door-and-door action, stuff like that with your friends. Never say never. You know, if someone offered me a car in the morning, of course I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say I'd never go to drift. Just, it's not really my main plan. You know, that sort of. I just want to build a cool car and just have fun at track days whenever they start back.
If you were competing and you got pulled against Josh, who'd win?
I want to say me, but he is a good driver. Like, I'd be worried I would.
So he'd beat you? Would he beat you?
I don't know, Matt. We did say it because we were talking with a live thing on the Drift Games YouTube last week, and everyone was asking who'd win the battle between Mike and Josh, and we were like, right, when this is over, we'll just get to 2-1. Dave was like, we'll just give you the 2-1-80s and let's just have a battle. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't care who wins, but yeah.
I'll fix them. Yeah, let's go.
We're not waiting for your Drift Games battle. Who's going to win, you or Josh?
Smash, I beat Josh at everything we do, bar the things he's already bet me at. But other than that,
it's fine. Oh, God. So, we always finish with one last question. Have you two got anything you'd like to ask me or Matt?
How many drinks have you drank while doing these videos?
Too many.
How high drunk?
Yeah, not this video. Like, since you started doing all these, like.
Hang on. Can work out how to turn my camera around.
You're meant to be expert. Fingering the
phone. I've got a box there with 6 in. Then I've got all there. So yeah, you've had
a bit now. You have.
I've done quite a few.
At one point, well, a couple of times we've had Pop and Crisps night because I've said I can't do this every night. He was literally making me do it every single night. I'm like, I don't even like people.
Yeah.
I don't even want to speak to people every night.
I'm enjoying this social distancing by myself.
There's a bottle of wine in there, and obviously, by tomorrow there'll probably be a bottle of Baileys in there as well.
Adam, why don't you to finish off this interview? Why don't you neck that Ballycastle?
I like that.
You ain't got it in you.
Lots of good man.
Who cares?
You know they're going to come in and just fall in love.
Neck it, Adam. Neck it.
I'm not a neck in one go.
You can neck it in 4 goes. I want to see you pouring it above your head with nothing falling out.
Yeah, use it like champagne.
We've done quite well here, boys.
I don't think you have. I didn't think you'd actually do it.
Oh.
That's £4 up of English Baileys.
You have Aldi there, don't you, in Ireland?
Aldi, yeah.
You should purchase a bottle, mate. Ballycastle. I'm not drinking all that.
Are you sponsored by them? Are they like promoting this ad?
It's on
Lockdown beers.
Lockdown
beers with Adam Simmons and Ballycastle.
Ballycastle Baileys. Oh, brilliant.
Savage, can I go now? I need a wee.
Yeah, he wants to ask us.
No, I don't think so. Unless, no, I think that's it.
No, go on, spit it out. I feel like I'm going to crack open another beer for this one.
Go on, crack it up and then neck it.
Yeah, go on, Matt, neck it.
I don't do beer pressure. Beer pressure.
So, if you've got note to ask us, boys, that's it. We're calling it. It's been nice speaking to you both, and I'm sure we'll see you at round 1.
Mike, can you make sure there's some...
Are you picturing it, Mike? Round 1, Mike?
See, I know the original plan before all this was I was actually meant to be working in the shop at round 1. But now with the dates change, I think I should be fine to be in the pits again. But yeah, no, I should be there for a whole year.
Working in what shop?
Yeah, the drift game shop.
The drift game shop at BDC.
Oh, right.
Official.
If you can,
have you got a discount code, Mike, if anyone comes up to you at round 1?
Oh my God, I don't, but I have a sound person code. You know, if someone's sound comes up to me when I'm working in the shop, I look after them. If someone who would, just wrecked my head over the years, no.
Well, if anybody who's watching, if you go up to Mike and tell him that you watched this video,
if you say lockdown beers,
yeah,
then Mike will give you a discount. 100%.
If you say that lockdown beers, we'll start something. Okay, we'll start something. That's fair. Adam will be first one up, says lockdown beers.
Yeah, me and Adam.
We got any free stickers or something like that for us, Mike? No. It was nice speaking to you both, boys. Good to have a catch up. And I'm sure everybody will like getting to know who the people are who run the track. So, been good seeing you, and we shall see you later.
See you soon, lads.
Bye.
Speak soon, kids. See you later, boys.